Hello everyone, this is Douglas C. Welch with another container garden update. Well, frankly, I am so pleased. As you can see, our basil is going gangbusters. In fact, we need to prune it back, make some pesto up, freeze some of that, and also maybe freeze some of the basil leaves mixed with olive oil or mixed with water to store it away so we don't let any of it go bad. I do notice there's some flowers look like they're starting on the top. We don't want that. We want to nip those out and prune them back. So the next step in the next few days will be to prune this and make our pesto and move on with that project. The peppermint in front is going crazy as well in the heat. It's actually hit 101 here in the San Fernando Valley today, but we're out after the sun has passed behind the trees, so we're not baking, but it is still warm out here. And it does cause these herbs to really take off at this time of year. When I started thinking about today's update, I didn't realize how much I was going to have to say, but there's quite a bit going on. As you might notice in this pot, number 2 pot, the lettuces have bolted. There's one left in here. I actually gave the other lettuces to our friends who have 2 tortoises actually that they raise, and they do like their lettuce. So while we wouldn't find this very palatable because it's turned very, very bitter, the turtles certainly were, and maybe I'll pass that one on to them as well. Otherwise, into the compost pile until the weather cools down a bit. Up here, we think we finally figured out, it's finally giving us enough information about what this thing is. This is a cantaloupe. It is a melon, as we thought. It isn't a watermelon, but you can tell by the striations on the skin and stuff it is a cantaloupe. I had a few others on here that I hoped were going to take, but I think this one is taking all the energy of the plant that can grow in a container like this. So this is probably the only one we're going to get, but you know, I'm actually pretty impressed with that. I'm very happy to see that we're able to produce some food out of the garden, some fruits. So it's going to be a pleasure. Hopefully that'll grow to full size and we'll be able to eat that here in our own home. The strawberry in front here is going pretty well. We are seeing some runners. I see another runner on this one that's touching the soil, and I'll show you another runner in just a moment that's really going crazy. Now in this case, you can see the kale is pretty much done. We'll probably be pulling that out fairly soon here. I don't think we're going to get any more edible parts off of that, and the strawberry is going gangbusters. You might be able to see here in front, if I pull these back, these are all strawberry runners, and they are actually going to produce new plants at each of these junctures. And I have one here in the back that's actually in the soil, and what I did is just put some soil over the stem to hold it down against the soil so that it gets every possible chance of rooting. You can also take a little piece of wire, perhaps an old piece of coat hanger, whatever, and pin that runner to the soil to ensure that it goes even further. Now what you may not be able to see is leaning over the side of the pot here is yet another runner, the continuation of the runner that's in the pot. I'm thinking I'm going to let that continue to grow until it reaches the actual soil in this garden bed. Maybe put some extra garden soil down in there and see if it actually root in the ground. If we can move these strawberries into the bed, which hasn't been really productive in the past, it needs some rebuilding, so we'd probably put some garden soil down in each of the areas. But it'd be nice to have a nice bed of strawberries here just to go from year to year. Now hiding away way in the back here behind the wine bottle, you may notice 2 little lonely spinach seedlings. Unfortunately, I was a bit too aggressive in watering. I was watering this with the hose and it just washed a lot of the seedlings away. I should have known better than that, and I was just in a hurry. So we are going to plant some more spinach in here, hand water it to get them started until they're to a size where they can deal with water coming from the actual hose. And finally, in our longer update, we're actually going to prepare a new container. My wife is so happy with the herbs we've got growing, the basil, the peppermint and such. She really wants some parsley and she really wants some chives to go with her baked potatoes. So we're actually going to prepare another pot here. And along with that, we're actually going to use yet another slow watering technique, much like my wine bottle gardening. We've taken this lemonade bottle here, kind of see that there, and we've punched some holes in the bottom. We're going to bury it probably up to about here on the neck so that we can easily fill it with water, and then those holes should let it slowly drain into the pot, much like the wine bottles that we use otherwise. We'll adjust it. We'll see how long it takes to drain, but we'll adjust it. We might need more holes. We might need air holes in the top or punched in the lid. So we'll play around with it a little bit. It's something I saw online as a way of reusing plastic containers, and we'll see how it goes. First thing we do is we got some pot shards in the bottom of the pot like we did with the others. Great ways of reusing broken crockery from the kitchen. In fact, there's a mug down there that got broke just this morning, so Forgive my appearance today. If you catch me on camera here, I've been out in the garden quite a bit today, even though it is hot. So now that we have that, I think we need to add a little bit more. I want to make this come up, sit about right here. So it's easy to fill, but yet still gets the water down inside the pot. So let me add some more soil. Yeah, that looks pretty close. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, we actually got kind of lucky there. We're gonna maybe make a little bit of a divot for that lemonade bottle. And let's see how carefully I can pour the rest of the soil in there without knocking that bottle over. Not too bad. Okay. Sometimes you're never quite sure how things are going to work. But yeah, look at that. The bottle just stands a little bit proud, so you can easily put the hose or put your watering can in there to fill it up, which we'll do at the end of this video. And tamp that soil down just to here. And now I think we're ready to throw some seeds on top of this and see what we can get growing. We've been very happy with our success, actually, with these containers, as I said. So now, of course, the trouble with these small seeds is they are small. So I'm gonna say we'll put parsley on the right here. I'm just gonna broadcast it across the top. We'll see how much it takes. We'll save a little bit of seed left to replant later. Okay, and then I'll plant the chives over here. Oh, even smaller seeds. I don't know if you can even see those in the palm of my hand there. They're very, very tiny. But we'll do the same thing, kind of broadcast them as nicely. Kind of got a clump there. Broadcast them as nicely as we can over here and around the left-hand side. And then we'll mark those up. Mark those up later. Now, of course, the trick is you just want to barely cover these. So what I'm going to do is just grab a handful of soil and just barely cover them over. Just a little bit more here. Just to give them, and then we're going to tap them in. Now, my wife Roseanne has prepared her what I call my Van Nuys watering can, and I'm actually going to do a video on these a little later. I find them actually very useful, and there's some tricks to making them work really well, but you basically just punch some holes in the lid and the handle, and they work like a standard watering can. I like the fact they hold a lot of water, and they're much more gentle. When you're doing something with seeds or seedlings, it's just a much gentler flow than the hose would ever give, and we won't end up washing our seedlings away again like I did with the spinach. While I'm here, I'm actually going to take the cap off the container here and actually pour some right in our other bottle that we've put in here, and we'll get an idea of just how fast this bottle drains out. It's not immediate, it's not glugging down, I'm not seeing lots of air bubbles, and that's actually what you want. You don't want it to disappear, you want it to slowly put the water right down in the roots of the plants where it's needed most. So I'll put the rest of the gallon of water on the top. I hope you found this container update useful. Please leave your questions, comments, brickbats, whatever, on the blog or on YouTube. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you're doing in your container gardens or even in your regular gardens, especially as fall arrives and things are starting to wind down. Here in Southern California, we're actually continuing on with our growing season, and in fact, as the rain begins to arrive here in October, November, we actually get a whole new growing season as well. And that's when we'll be putting in more kale and more cold weather plants to carry us through the winter. For more information, you can always find us at A Gardener's Notebook, douglasewelch.com/AGN. Until next time, keep digging.